Hello everyone and welcome to my brand new YouTube channel. My name is Vigdis and I am a Norwegian amateur artist. I got into painting mainly with watercolor after becoming disabled as a grown-up. And I find that the art community brings me a lot of joy. And I want to share my small projects and big projects and sometimes very simple projects and coloring with all of you. Today, I thought I would share with you an Etsy find. And this is an Etsy find from a Norwegian handmade watercolor artisan. And I am Norwegian, so whenever I have to buy myself art supplies on Etsy or from Jackson's, anytime I have to buy anything from another country, I also have to consider the fact that I'm going to have to pay customs, I'm going to have to pay shipping. And then when I found that this Norwegian artisan, that seemed really intriguing. The paint swatches she had on her Etsy page was beautiful. And she also sold something called grab bags. Now, the paints that I have from the grab bag, they can be colors that the artisan has discontinued. They can be colors that she wasn't satisfied with, or they can be colors that the pans didn't get filled enough. Any kind of reason that she isn't selling these at full price in her store. Her name is Lene Myhre, and her Etsy shop is LeneMyhreArt, and I'm going to link it below. But this was also such a nice experience because I bought the paints. They said that it would be like so and so many half pans, mini pans, and that most of them probably wouldn't be filled. And what I got was so much more than I thought I would get. I'm going to show you the pans. I have them in this box right here. So everything here are the pans I got. So different shapes, even this cute little mushroom shape, and most of them are fairly well filled. There's also quarter pans, and the quarter pans are fully filled. So I felt very, very good about this purchase. When I tried the paints the first time, they were very nice. I got extras. I forgot to talk about the extras. I got stickers. All the stickers have been used. I put some on this palette. I put some on other palettes. Very cute stickers of her own art. So you can see she is a very good watercolor artist. I also got several dot cards from colors she is selling in her store. So we're going to test all of them. So fairly generous dot card sizes. Some more than others, like this is a big one. But more than enough to swatch several times. I got this very cute card with more of her own artwork on it, and her Instagram and her Etsy shop. She sends with every purchase an English card with instructions, so how to take the packaging off, what to expect from handmade watercolors. And she sent me a card. And she also, on the back of this card, this is in Norwegian, wrote a personal message to me. And what also was very nice, after I tested these colors and I found them to be very beautiful, I wrote her a review on her store. And she then sent me a mail afterwards. And she didn't have to do that. But it was so nice. And when you are making your own store and you're trying to make your own business, taking the time to thanking people for words means a lot. So today I'm going to show you these beautiful colors. Now, the bad side of buying a grab bag, you don't get to know what the colors are. There's no names. You don't get to see light fastness. You don't get to see pigment information. But I can guess from some of these how they behave, what pigments they are, and they are all beautiful. There are some that I probably would be careful using in a artwork that I'm going to give away or sell, but most of them seem pretty good. So we're going to try to swatch these out in my swatch book. This is a swatch book with Bauhong paper. It's a really great swatch book. I get them made from an eBay store where you can choose what kind of paper you want in them. I'm going to see if I can find it. It's been a while since I bought a new, let's call it a shipment, because I buy a lot when I buy. I buy a lot of sketchbooks when I buy. But the paper is really good. This is Bauhong rough paper. It doesn't feel like a rough paper. It feels like a very nice, lovely cold press. Okay, I'm not going to pre-wet these colors. Usually with handmade watercolors, I would pre-wet them because they can be difficult. I didn't find that these were difficult. Okay, so this is, I've just marked this as my number 1 pan. And this is what you get straight from the pan. And what surprised me so much about these paints, these are paints that she doesn't feel comfortable selling at full price for whatever reason. If it's because she has discontinued the colors or if she's uncomfortable for some other reason. But when this is what you find to not be good enough, then I'm guessing the products she has that she feels to have enough quality are going to be amazing products. They feel very good going on the page. We'll see what kind of granulation this has. I haven't tried to layer them much. I've done one artwork with them. But we'll see. This I have just labeled as number 2. We are starting from tans, and afterwards we'll be working our way into greens, blues, reds, and I think, I'm not entirely sure what the darkest color here is. So if this is very yellow ochre, this seems very raw sienna, much lighter going down. Let me see if I can get this chunkier in mass tone. Yeah, there we go. But generally a light and breezy color. It would probably be very interesting to use this one in skin tones. My swatches will probably go a little bit here and there and crazy. I'm not good at making perfect swatches. And I kind of like it when they're not perfect. I feel very comfortable with a very unperfect book. Like your sketchbook is supposed to be filled with mistakes and happy little accidents and stuff like that. That's how we learn. So we're coming into a very bright green, almost from the pan, it's almost chartreuse. Yeah. So this is very much a highlight color. It would probably mix very well with blues to make a somewhat more dark green, maybe a little bit more natural green. You can almost use that one as a yellow. It's so bright. From the pan of this next one, and like I said, these ones that you get from the grab bag, none of them have names. It looks very close to this one, but maybe a little bit more mossy, bit more, oh, that is, this is more a bright olive. So it moves, but not that much, so I'm helping it along. We're going into our third green. It's fun because this one doesn't look that much like the one in the pan. I'm sorry if you can hear my birds. I have 2 budgies. I also have 2 dogs. So if anyone decides to ring the doorbell while I'm doing this, they're gonna go crazy. They bark a lot. They're not... Oh. I mean, this one looked a little bit... I'm gonna show you. This is the one we're doing. It definitely looks darker than these 2, but it's so beautiful. This is a very natural looking green for me. This is something I would use a lot. Again, you see it doesn't really move much on its own. So if you want controlled paints, handmade watercolors will often have, what should I say, like the pigments will be more settled because it won't get as finely mold as you will from a machine. But that's the beauty of them. Let's put this one here instead. So we're going over to this quarter pan, and it's a brimming quarter pan. You see, they come to life with very little work. I haven't pre-wet them. This is how they come. How many times did I touch it? A few times, but this is a very soft brush. This is the Da Vinci Casaneo, so it's a faux squirrel brush. So it's the softest brush I have. Probably my most workhorse brush, this. And being faux, oh, look at that. The effect when you put water into the acetone. It's really nice. I'm just gonna wipe this one off. We are moving into the blues, and the first one is looking fairly dark. Yeah. It's a moody blue. Stunningly beautiful moody blue. This is your sky color when the weather is gonna turn. Just beautiful. So going into a, ooh, because this one looks so light here, and the color here is very intense. I'm not sure if the camera is picking it out. Is this a lot more intense than what I would have thought from the pan? how dark we can get it in mass tone. And now we're moving into the one that from just looking at the pan seems the lightest. Well, I have to be a little careful. I've gotten some green from my Shein pans into the corner and I haven't cleaned it, so. Also this very soft moody blue. Oh, this one is turning more turquoise as it's blending out and drying. This one to me has some of the same quality as, now I know this is an extremely expensive paint. The only reason I have a tube of it is because I tend to watch eBay for watercolor lots that are being sold. And it has kind of the same muted feeling as the lapis lazuli. And a little bit of the same feeling as Roman Small Misty Morning, which is also a very beautiful muted paint. We're going into the mushroom. I'm going to try to see if I can move these a little bit so you all, there we go. So this, it has to be bigger than a half pan, I'm guessing. And it just, again, comes to life immediately. Now, I haven't bought that many handmade paints. They tend to run expensive. Grab bags like these tend to be a lot less expensive because you can't really say anything about what colors you're going to get. But my experience with handmade paints from Etsy and stuff like that has usually been that they are hard to re-wet. I have some that are just basically now pebbles. But these just go immediately. Oh, that is just instantly. I'm hoping for granulation. It does look like it's going to granulate a lot. That is beautiful. A very deep rose. And like, again, this is something she wasn't happy with. Or maybe she was happy with it, but this was like one of the few that she had remaining in it. But look at that. Look at that. It's starting, you can see it in the texture of the sheet that it's starting to separate different colors. This is going to be nice. This is going to be so beautiful. But yes, if I was going to use any of these and give away or sell the painting, because this is a red, I would be careful, because a lot of reds and pinks have questionable light fastness. Oh, there we go. This is a pure looking black. We're gonna see how it behaves to see if it's like a PBK 11 black with granulation. If it is finely milled. I think it is a PBK 11. You have to wait until your sheets are dried to be able to kind of see. But that is beautiful. And there's something almost blue in them when it gets diluted. And I am a PBK 11 fan. I have it from several brands. When I bought a Roman small palette that had 24 beautiful colors, and found out that I can squeeze 4 more into this palette. I bought the PBK 11 at once as one of the 4. Okay, last one from the grab bag. So these again, these are just the ones I ordered from the grab bag. This looks so dark in the palette and I don't know. Oh! Oh, yes! Indigo! Oh, I love indigo. One of my very first tube paints were Rembrandt indigo, 20 milliliter, and I've used it all. In Norway, Rembrandt is easier to get often, and at least in large tubes. Look at that. I have such a strong feeling for indigos. I love them so much. Indigos, Payne's Grey. But I also love the very bright ones like Phthalos and quinacridones. You don't get anything as bright on a page if you're not going to the neon colors. But that is beautiful, moody, stunning. Okay, so now we've been through all of these 12 that I got from the grab bag. And from the 12, like I said, they said that you could get a mix of quarter pans and half pans. I've gotten quite a few half pans, and they are most of them are semi-filled. Some of them are filled up. So it was a good bargain. Now we're gonna try out the dot cards from the paints that she is selling. Now I bought this in December, so I would guess that she probably still has most of these on. Let's see. Let's start with our bright red. Now, in Norwegian, this is named valmue. That's poppy for the rest of you. So this is poppy red. And this one also just goes. This hasn't been pre-wetted, hasn't been fixed in any way before, and it just goes. Now this is going to be a little bit more fun because reds tend to have more life in them for moving in water. Oh yeah. And there we go. See how dark I could get it in acetone. Beautiful, warm, lovely, lovely red. Very warm red. Not entirely a fire truck red, but not too far off. Do you have this closest to red? So this one has an English name. I'm not entirely sure what it means. Red bowl is what it seems like. I don't know what a bowl is. I know what red is, but let's see. Oh, so it is a very soft, warm tan. See how dark we can get it here. It's very transparent. I would probably need to work this one. I would probably need to work a little bit to get a very strong mass tone. But that's what I have. And then we have one that doesn't have a name, just a number. Let's see, can I get this off? 110. Yeah, it's beautiful. I think it's gonna granulate. It seems, I mean, I would guess that this is a, is it PB or PR 101 or 102? You know, your very typical earthy reds. But it reminds me on paper, I'm not sure if the camera is gonna pick that up, as a dark Potter's Pink. It definitely has that pinkish tint to it. At least to the Potter's Pink that I tend to use, which is Schmincke's. We're gonna try Ultramarine Red Violet. Another one I am a sucker for, ultramarine violets. I mean, you can't really go wrong mixing with ultramarines because you get beautiful granulation of the ultramarine. And that is just lovely in any mix. This is very soft. Doesn't move much on its own like the red did. Usually your red and your yellows, they will just move, swim along the water. Enjoy seeing that one when it's fully dry. And then the last one that she sent me a dot card for is this one here, her 109 Skog. In English, that's forest. So I would guess, from the look of it, you can't really judge a watercolor pan by looking at it, just like we've seen with all these other ones here. Hopefully this is gonna be like a cobalt greenish thing. I love that. I love any kind of dusky. Oh, look at that. Dusky, kind of heavy on the paper greens, opaque-ish. Oh, let's see how it, yeah, it's too water. Moves a little bit in water, not terribly much. Again, very often the case with handmade watercolors that they won't move too much because they haven't been as finely milled as what you will get from a machine, or and depending on binder. I think that honey binders often just move more. Okay, now most of the paints from the grab bag has dried enough to see the effects they will have on the paper. So we have what seems to be yellow ochre, somewhat denser than its neighbor here, which I would guess is a raw sienna. Just for the lightness. Yellow ochre tends to be a lot more opaque. Raw sienna tends to be a much lighter color, and I don't mean necessarily lighter in color tone, but lighter in the fact that it's not opaque. Our very bright green, chartreuse looking color. Beautiful olive, beautiful light olive. This, I would almost, I'm not entirely sure what this would be. From here, this is where it got hit with more water, so it's bloomed, which isn't granulation. I can't see anything up here of granulation. This one I think has some. Very beautiful, both of these. This one is a little bit brighter of a green, but this is a very natural moss green. This one definitely has some granulation, a beautiful soft blue, to this one that turned turquoise on drying, and are beautiful, what lapis lazuli should be, which I'm not saying that this is a lapis lazuli, I'm just saying that the tone reminds me of it. But you will never get a lapis that will kind of do this, because they usually come out with very little pigment. This one is one of my favorites. The brightness of this red, especially here where it's settled into the paper more, and then the blue granulation. I still think this is a PBK 11. I think it's finely milled, but it's a PBK 11. And what I would still say absolutely is a indigo. And then, hold on. Sorry for a short interruption there. My husband and my daughter came home from playing basketball. And these are, of course, then the dot cards from Lene Myhre. And they are beautiful. And the reason I wanted to make this video based on a small Norwegian Etsy store, a lot of YouTubers will make these wonderful videos on Etsy stores. I don't think Lene Myhre has gotten any attention, and both for her kindness in contact with buyers, but also for the fact that these products are really, really good. I bought this in December when I'd gotten birthday money and felt a little rich, which is mostly a feeling, not a fact. But this is such an experience of wonderful handcrafted paints. I'm going to make a painting with these paints and take you along for that. So you can see how they actually work on paper, not just from swatching. So sorry, I had to cut very abruptly because I was getting a migraine. So we're back again, and as you see, I have done a very, very rough sketch. Someone mentioned the movie Midsummer yesterday when I was listening to a podcast, and I thought that, well, it's Sweden, it's very close, and this being a Norwegian paint brand, that seemed fun. So we are going to try to make the flower dress, and we are going to do this very loosely because this is a small sketchbook and the dress itself is highly detailed. So we're just gonna have fun. I brought in a few things to do some white highlights and maybe some ink afterwards, but that's all. And I will be pausing whenever I have to dry the paper, because this is cotton paper. It takes a long time to dry on its own. And my hairdryer makes too much sound for me to want to subject anyone for this. So we are going to start up with just wetting everything. Doesn't matter if anything of the sketch of the person gets wet. This is just going to be super easy and fun. Lots of water. And one of the reasons why this would probably be a good brand for LeneMyhre is also because they don't move that much. This is going to be easy to control compared to a lot of other brands. So we are just going to be playing along. Nothing needs to be nice. It's a sketchbook. Nothing needs to be nice. This isn't something that's ever gonna be sold or used for anything like that. So this can just be fun. Too much water. So if you get too much water, just wipe your brush off and get it. Okay, so first layer is done. I paused to dry it. We're now going to start being a little bit more careful and try to like actually make some shapes that can be discerned what it is. And nothing again has to be perfect because it's a sketchbook with just playing and having fun. I'm going to make a little bit of a darker green by mixing that chartreusey color. And let's just see if it will make me a somewhat moodier one with the indigo. Yeah, there we go. Darker. Using point to kind of make some. There's a lot of spruce and what I would call pointy trees in both Norway and Sweden. So easy to make, like in the distance, to just give it a little bit of a point, and that's all you need if you're painting a little bit more loosely. Doesn't have to be pretty, just has to suggest the shape. try to match the lines up somewhat here. I have always been very bad at doing that, matching up the lines. Mixing myself some more of the deeper shadowy green. That's just a chartreuse yellow and the one that I thought was an indigo color. Don't be precious with sketchbooks. Like, have the audacity to make mistakes and have fun with it. Your sketchbook is not going to be sold, it's just something to have fun with and practice. And learn a little bit. Alright, we're gonna re-dry. Everything's wet again. So dry enough for further use. As you see, I'm not doing any detailing here at all yet. I tend to leave detailing till the very end. I just want tones down. But now I'm gonna start doing wet in wet again on the dress and the flower crown. And I'm going outside of the lines. See, I haven't bothered at all with keeping her lines clear because the dress is a flower dress. The environment will kind of sneak into it. It's not a hard line. So we're just having fun with this. Now, the flower dress has a lot of yellow in it, and I don't have a yellow in this set. The closest thing I have is the chartreuse, and I think we can get away with that. So, just wetting everything, and we're just gonna get in colors. We're not gonna detail anything until the end. We're gonna see what it becomes. But luckily, I have the red dot card, which is good because that also made me able to make a skin tone. We're just gonna sprinkle and we'll see what it becomes. I think it's actually gonna be fun. Oh, it's already drying here. Hold on, I have to make sure there's no red on the brush. I don't want the pink to kind of be its own hue. I'm gonna try the ultramarine violet. That was the very kind of gentle pink, lilac-y pink. Yes, it does spread when dropped into water like this. That's all I could want, really. putting in something that is basically a green close to red is, you know, it's going to be somewhat problematic. I don't want it to neutralize too much. So we're going to try to make sure we don't put it exactly into our reds. Oh, that blue is somewhat overpowering. We'll see how it looks when it dries. You can't tell anything about a project until it's really gone dried. I don't mean you can't tell anything about a project, but you can't really see if this is going to be a happy accident or a bad thing until it's dried. And if it's dried, there's stuff you can do to help. There really is. You don't have to worry about mistakes or anything like that. It'll be okay. Try my little mushroom. That's the one that heavily granulates. This very dark red pinkish that granulates to blue. Afterwards, I'm going to take away some water. You can see it's pooling here. And for the look that I'm going for here, I don't want that. Using my faux squirrel is better at soaking up water than the Princeton Velvet Touch. That is also a very good brush though. It's a good detail brush. It's kind of an all-rounder. Okay, we're gonna have to start pulling down some colors just to kind of fill out where the crown would go. Gonna add in a little bit to try to soften what we have going on here. Okay. Then trying to not mess this up too much, we have to do a little bit of a shadowy underneath. That's not dark enough at all. So I'm gonna go in on the top part. This is a fairly dry brush now, just to detail in a little bit. Then we can soften it. We don't want it overpowering, we just want the suggestion of the shadow, because this is a huge dress. It's gonna make shadow. All right, we're gonna dry and come back to it. Okay, so now we have our major colors down everywhere. And I'm gonna start detailing. I'm gonna start up with the skin tone that I mixed from what I believe is a rose sienna and the poppy red. And I haven't tested it, so I'm just gonna put it down. It will usually lighten a bit. You very often, with watercolor, you often have to make the mixtures a little bit stronger than you would think, because the colors itself will lighten. Okay, so now we're just going to start having a little bit fun. We're going to start in with the dress. I'm going to start on the top, work my way down. So just like making sure there's no like steady lines or anything. I just wanted to kind of have all of these spots of color like field of flowers would have. And that's basically this dress is a field of flowers. And I'm being very gentle. This is going in very softly. I'm not scrubbing at the colors that are already down. So this isn't going to tell me much about whether the colors here will lift because I'm moving so gently. We're not going to do this everywhere. That would take forever. Who has the time for forever? Sometimes you do. But it's like usually with flowers I would go for a very bright blue when they have, I mean, flowers are bright and loud, but I feel like this was the brightest blue in the set, and I've decided that I'm just going to use, paint-wise, I'm just going to use what's in the set. I'm not going to pull in other colors. And also I'm not going to bother much with shadow until afterwards, until we've gotten a little bit further along. Now we are adding in a few of these because it's such a deep, I mean, yeah, but this would be a very big dress, and the flowers seem to be in layers. We can have a little bit of darker greens, and especially down here by the bottom. That would be, if you say that this is the more shadowy side, we'll add much more.
making details on such a small area is going to be difficult no matter what, but we're gonna try. I'm gonna keep you away from the flower crown because I don't want to pull that green into this face. Right. And while that dries a little bit naturally, we're gonna do my brush and make some more of the darker green. There's going to be a lot of shadows in anything that you have, like the foresty side bed. And I'm just moving very erratically with my brush. Oh, that's a bit too wet even for me. I'm going to try to not touch the tops of the trees that I almost made here. Just want to deepen this a little bit down. Okay, so I have lost all the white details in the dress. I knew that would happen because wet in that you can't control keeping in unless you're gonna go in with masking fluid. And I didn't want to bother with that today. So we're gonna fix that with either a white Posca or gel pen or white pencil afterwards. All right, we're going to dry a little and go in with more details. Okay, so we're going to just finish up the face. And again, this is a small painting, so the face isn't going to be very, very detailed. But we have to add a little bit more shadow underneath where the crown is, because it's a huge crown. It's going to cast shadow into her forehead. Doing some more to mark the shadowy side of the face, getting the lips, getting the suggested huge grin. There. The rest we're gonna have to do with ink or pencils, it's so small. And then we're gonna try first. Let's test here. If it doesn't work out, it's just a white little flower. What the best? Alright, we're gonna try to hold it upright. I can't ever seem to get the white gel roll to work the way I see others do. People make these beautiful highlights with them and they don't really want to cooperate that much with me. But we're gonna try just doing some irregular circles and stuff too. Just the dress. We're gonna try to outline it. This is drying up again. Prismacolor it is. That's a lot easier for me with the Prisma. In Norway you can't buy Prismacolors at all in any stores. They don't sell them. They did earlier, but there was so much problems with breakage and returns that they stopped. I bought a full Prismacolor set on eBay for a very cheap price, and then I ordered in a stock of the white ones just to have, because I go through the white ones fast. But look at it, the way it goes on top of watercolor, the way the softness of it on a watercolor paper is beautiful. I'm gonna have to pause and get a sharpener. Here we go. I can use it to kind of make this have a little bit more natural shape. Not that this flower crown has that natural shape, but at least like even it a little, because it's supposed to be not symmetrical. Flowers aren't symmetrical, and this is not put together by a florist. This is made by a bunch of cultists. So there, I feel that's good. Okay, let's add in a little to lighten parts of her face that would be more in the sun. There. Okay. We want some lighter highlights on the ground, maybe a few just from this side. I'm not doing houses, I'm not doing anything like that. Oh, this is going to be where I'm going to cock it up, isn't it? Yep, that was when I cocked it up. Making the weirdest eyes ever. Can I dampen this by kind of... No, can I do a little bit with this? All right, we're gonna save it with a little bit more white, or at least somewhat. Okay, just putting more where I feel like the sun would be coming in from. And you can use gouache, of course, but I wanted to use this now to have just a little bit more fun with it. I love using colored pencils with watercolor paintings, mainly because I love the texture. I love the texture that a watercolor paper will give to pencils or pastels or everything. The fact that it's not smooth and perfect, I really enjoy. We can do a little bit of some lightness spots on the top ridge, maybe not there, but you know, sometimes you mess up and that's fine. You're gonna have fun with it. There. I'm gonna say I'm happy with that. It's my sketchbook. It's not something I would necessarily put on my wall, but I'm happy with it. So, the paints. I checked her store, Lene Myhre store on Etsy again yesterday. She has currently no more of the 12 packs of grab bags. She has several of 3. And I can't remember the pricing of it, but it wasn't bad. I'm going to look it up. Okay, I'm watching in her page now. So the grab bags that she has in currently has 3 pans. And that says that it's going to be 3 half pans if you buy that kind of a set. So you're not going to get quarter pans or dot cards according to what it says here. But I got stickers and things like that as well. She has sticker packs. This is for the grab bag of 3 is for 90 kroners, which is approximately $9, I would guess. Very, very worth it. She has sets of watercolor. She has, like I said, stickers. She has tote bags. And I would highly recommend showing some love to the kind of less known handmade watercolor artisans, because they deserve it. And this is a beautiful paint. You don't have to work it. It mixes. I've been mixing a lot here, and you see it's fine. It hasn't gone muddy. And the fact you don't have to take the time to re-vat and still work on a pan that's gone into a pebble. This is, none of them have been hard to re-vat. So highly recommend. Thank you so much for watching my very first video. And I'll think about what to do next time. Bye bye.